Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time for another review of another Oxford United game. Today the Yellows were at home to the league leaders, Plymouth Argyle. So the league leaders are in town, or were in town I should say, and Oxford's unbeaten home record was in jeopardy in this game. And I'll tell you what, Plymouth have only gone and ruddy done it. They've blown that undefeated home record out of the water. Oxford well beaten today by a very clinical Plymouth Argyle side. It ended Oxford United 1, Plymouth Argyle 3, and this very topsy-turvy, inconsistent season goes on for Oxford United. After getting a fantastic win against Sheffield Wednesday last time out, we can't back that up with another win or even get a point in what turned out to be another frustrating and ultimately disappointing afternoon. There were surprises right at the start of the game with Robinson changing tactics, playing almost what it looked like a 4-2-3-1, and it looked weird. It looked weird to me, and I know that's easy to say after the fact, but when I saw it, it just didn't look right. You had Herbie Kane and Brannigan playing as two holding midfield players, and I don't think either one of them are holding midfield players. Gavin White playing as a 10, like an attacking midfield, I don't get it. Has he ever played there before? Which meant Henry was out on the right, which is fine, but isn't Henry better in the middle and White better on the wing? I don't know. It just seemed very disjointed. It looked good in terms of Oxford's attacking options. We'll get back to it. Because we've got a good game to talk about, which was in the balance for long periods before Plymouth did end up winning it. But it started fantastically, as always Oxford games start fantastically, don't they? And it starts with the obligatory Oxford United goal. We take the lead in seemingly every single game. 7 games now, I think. Oh, it's probably more. I think most of the games this season we've scored the first goal. And we did get the first goal in this one. We started great. It came from Matty Taylor, who's back in the goals now. A wonderful ball from James Henry over the top, which just caught the Plymouth defence square. Taylor ran in behind. Beautiful finish past Cooper in the Plymouth goal, and Oxford were 1-0 up, and it was like happy days, great. Big at the back of your mind thinking, can we build on it? But you're never going to knock such a good goal and such a good start. I think they said on radio commentary it's like 7 games now where Oxford have taken the lead or scored the first goal and then haven't gone on to score the second goal. And it happened again, and it happened very quickly this time. We've seen games against Gillingham where it took a bit of time, or Sheffield Wednesday where it took a bit of time for the opposition to get back into it. This one straight away. The first time Plymouth got a chance to attack, they ran at us, and it was a wonderful individual goal from Garrick, who just ran at the Oxford United defence, and they were very, very, just didn't want to foul him. It looked like at one point Thornley was going to bring him down at the box, but he created enough space to get a shot, and he buried it into the corner. It was a lovely goal, a wonderful finish, and basically the first time that either side had an attacking threat, they both scored. So we were 1-1 after about 15 minutes. And from then on in, it was quite even. You had periods of play where Oxford did all right, didn't really threaten too many times, but then Plymouth threatened as well, and they looked very good on the counter-attack especially, but even not on the counter. There was many times they threatened Oxford, certainly from wide areas, where wide areas are starting to be a feature where Oxford seem to be able to get at us through the wide areas. And the likes of Broom, Kamara, and up front, Jeffcott and Garrick were very, very good. And the 2 wing-backs overloaded and provided support as well. And Oxford really struggled with it. And the difference was as well, there were times where Oxford played some good football, like we normally do. We get forward and we get balls into the box. And it's just Taylor on his own, and he's very isolated. And it has to be a pretty perfect cross for him to get anything on it. One instance, for example, I think there was one instance where a crop Nathan Holland or as Henry got one right across the face of goal in the first half, and a couple of times Holland, got into good areas, and again, it's just not able to hit more than one person in the box. Whereas Plymouth had options every time they put a cross in. They seemed to have multiple people. We were a bit lucky that the likes of Jeffcott isn't quite in the form he was in last season. Because he probably would have buried a couple more goals in this game. And it seemed like there was warning shots for Kamara. He hit a post. He had a dodgy header, which he should have scored from. But at the third time lucky, Oxford couldn't get away with it. It was a great break. They turned over the ball in midfield and they ran at us, and it was a wonderful step over. I think it was either from Garrick or Jeffcott. And Kamara just ran onto the ball and he finished it beautifully. There was nothing Stevens could do about it. Plymouth just proving how lethal they are in front of goal and why they're worthy to be top of the league. It was very clinical, and I don't think you could really argue with them being up 2-1 at half-time, despite Taylor going pretty close at the end of the first half. Again, it just came down to the fact of Oxford we create, but we don't score, and we get punished at the other end. But we had 45 minutes to turn it around. And Oxford started the second half very strongly. They got on the front foot, and that was our real purple patch of the game. We created loads of chances in that period without Cooper having to make a save. Oxford just managed to miss the target on every single occasion. Notably, I think there's James Henry went clean through and put one wide. There were chances for Gavin White, who just didn't want to shoot with his right foot and kept trying to cut back. And then when he did, he was snuffed out or the angle had gone. And there was a header from Seddon over the bar. And again, Nathan Holland fizzed one across the box, which Taylor couldn't get on. But it was just Oxford missing the target, but you felt the goal was coming. Plymouth had to change things around. I think they brought Mayer on and he kind of really shored things up. And from about 65 minutes, probably from the moment he came on, really, Plymouth looked a lot more steady and Oxford's threat kind of went away a bit more. And Oxford weren't out of the game, but they just didn't look as likely to score as they did in the first half of the second half. And ultimately, the third goal came for Plymouth, pretty similar to the second goal. A good move again and a lovely cut, not really a step over. I think this time Garrick just got out of the way and it confused a few Oxford players. And Camera was there again with a beautiful finish again, put it into the top corner. Again, nothing Stevens could do. But again, I would say Plymouth certainly looked capable of scoring goals in this game. And the fact they got 3, they could have got more. Oxford could have scored more as well. But I don't think you can begrudge them the win at all. And I should have said this right at the start of it, but well done to Plymouth Argyle. Deserve to be top of the league at the moment and enjoy it, Plymouth fans. You travelled in your numbers. I know some of you in our League One comments said that travelling to Oxford is like a nothing away game for Plymouth, concerned with the usual amount of mileage you have to rack up. But still, you travelled in great numbers and your players put on a show for your fans to enjoy. So enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. You certainly look a lot stronger side than you did last season. And Oxford's unbeaten home record goes up in smoke. Usual thing, isn't it? Usual thing. We just are not clinical in any way, shape or form, and we just cannot kill off games. And it is a real issue. And it's not just this season it's been an issue, but yeah, it's a real issue this season, I can tell you. I have to come back with issues I have with Robinson's team selection. I don't think it was very good today. I think if you're going to play 2 holding midfield players, surely one of them has to be Goran, doesn't he? Was he injured? He was on the bench. Why are you running? Are you scared of him picking up a booking and getting suspended? That's just what he does, isn't it? You deal with it when he comes. But surely against the league leaders, a side that are very good on the counter-attack and score a goal, surely Alex Goran should have been in that team today as a stopper. And then you could have played Brannigan. And then maybe you could have played Kane as the 10. Surely Kane should be playing higher up the pitch because he's great on the ball. He's got such a good footballing brain. He's got loads of time. He's a little bit too clever for the other Oxford players at the moment. They're not on the same wavelength of some of his passing. But he should be higher up the pitch. He shouldn't be bloody quarterbacking, in my opinion. And then, White looked better in the second half when he swapped with Henry, but he still doesn't do enough to influence the game for me. Nathan Holland, I thought, was good, but he's a winger that's going to be in and out of the game. I just, at times he goes a bit quiet, but he is playing well. He's enjoying his little run in the side. But I think Sykes needs to come back in. I think he's been better than the best player we've had on that right-hand side. I think you should stick with either Henry or Kane in the middle as a 10. Maybe Henry as the 10. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know how to pick it. At least Taylor's back in the goals and he's looking good. But again, he's coming too deep to get into the game and too wide. And so he's not into the middle. So frustrating, just really frustrating from an Oxford point of view because it's just seems a very typical Robbo thing to do, to just try and overcomplicate things too much and then more concerned about the pretty build-up play rather than actually just getting balls into the back of the net and finishing games off. And it's hurting us and it's costing us. And that's another... I mean, last season we couldn't hit a barn door for the start of the season. We were losing games. We were out of games before we were even in them. And now we're taking the lead in virtually every game, but we're throwing away points. We nearly threw away points against Wednesday last week in a game we should have won. And, we ended up winning it. But we threw away points today from a winning position. We threw away points against Gillingham from a winning position. You can go back to so many other examples right the way back to the first game of the season. And it is hurting this Oxford side. And it is still early days in the season and nothing's must win and nothing's like we've got to, Robinson out or anything like that or the team's not good enough. I think the team is good enough. I think the squad's good enough. I just think there's a lack of killer instinct and cutting edge in there at the moment. And it's game after game after game that we're creating numerous chances and we just can't finish teams off. And good teams are then punishing us at the other end. We're letting them off the hook, but they're not going to let us off the hook. And that's just the lesson we have to learn. So, rant over, I think. Not maybe much of a rant, just frustrating, isn't it? But what can we do? We've got Shrewsbury on Tuesday night. It's going to be a very, very different game. They're going to be a side that's going to try and nick something and then hold on to whatever they can nick, I imagine. So hopefully Oxford can do a job on them like we did on the likes of Accrington Stanley and get back to winning ways quite quickly, because this one was a decent game of football, but a frustrating one because Plymouth just showed us how to do it, really. And again, well done to them. And that will just about do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure there were loads of things that I missed. And if I did miss a load of things, put it down in the comments below and give your thoughts on the game down below. Oxford fans and Plymouth fans, please do that. Hit the like button if you like the video and hit subscribe if you like the content and you want to see more of it, because we do League One predictions and Premier League predictions as well on the channel every single week, as well as these Oxford reviews. But that is enough from me. Well, I'm not going to do a review after the Shrewsbury game. I'll just kind of do the ones at the weekend. So I'll be back next weekend for whoever Oxford are playing. It is, of course, a trip to Burton Albion. So can't say enjoy it. Let's get over it. Commiserations, Oxford fans. Have a couple of drinks and forget it, and we'll move on to Tuesday night. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.